boy Krugman. Hi there.
Hello.
It's time for that talking thing with Kim and Jason.
Did I ruin your intro?
I don't know. I was waiting. I thought maybe you had one.
No.
Okay. I know I didn't have an intro.
My intro is I got my hair cut.
Nice. It looks nice.
I haven't had it cut since.
I'm happy for you.
Guess when the last time?
Oh my gosh, like over a year, probably.
April of 2019.
Wow.
I didn't know, and she looked it up. I was like, that can't be true.
Yeah. You didn't go somewhere else?
Nope.
Yeah. I bet did she believe you, or did she think you were like cheating on her?
No, I had the length to prove it.
Yeah.
I might be closer to the microphone than you.
Oh.
I don't want it to sound very loud and mean, and then you're like.
Right. Okay.
Do you think I am?
Maybe. We'll see. We should have tested.
Can't tell.
That's not how we roll, though.
Wait, move your thing so then you can see. There you go. No, it seems like halfway.
Okay. I got this here 6 minutes.
We changed the way we're sitting.
Yeah, you're still talking to the camera, though. But I thought we should talk to each other more.
Yeah.
And make it more of a natural conversation that people are like being voyeurs of.
Okay.
I don't know. Just shake it up.
Maybe parts of it aren't, though. Like
the construction update. Like,
right.
Why are we? So we start out talking, and then when we get to the topics, we talk to each other.
Okay.
Construction update. We had an exciting meeting with our construction guy last week, and he definitely watches the show, and he knows like we talk about in the beginning. I think he watches everyone in the beginning, so it's fun. It is what it is.
Something we thought was going to be a major problem is not.
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as he can reassure us. So I'm super happy.
Yeah.
About that.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about there's
I know.
Yeah. So that was good. Construction update. It's not going to cost that much. There's water.
It's going to cost that much, but
we want water at the office. It's down the road. It's down our driveway towards the road. And currently there's a hose that goes underground and ties up to it. But it's like, I mean, what is it? PEX. I don't know. I'm learning so much about this PEX tubing. But it's like a hose. It's just a hose. Like at the part where it comes out of the hydrant in the garage, it's just a hose, and it's not filtered water. It's and it's not weatherproof. It's just in a tube through the garage outside that's not conditioned.
Right.
So there's a lot of these things where like we expect the contractor has it under control. Yeah. Like even today, jumping around, but today I was down there and there was a gentleman who was working on the installation, like the final, there's a couple spots, and he was asking me, and he was like throwing out acronyms and stuff. And he's like, I don't know if the R19, I call it R19. That's the only thing I really remember, because I know that's like an insulation thing. I didn't know he was an insulation guy. I was like, I think he's talking about insulation. And he said something, I know this and that and the other thing. And I was thinking about going under this. And I was like, I have no idea what those words mean. I was like, I talked to the contractor about some stuff, but not this. So you're going to have to call him. So it's like that for some things. You're like, I assume they know how to repair the hole that they jackhammered and stuff like that. And we don't really bring it up.
It looks pretty good. Did you see it?
No, I didn't see that part.
They cemented in the
bathroom. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks pretty good.
Yeah. So you just Do
you feel like you've gotten a new appreciation for people entering a WordPress website build with little to no experience? And they're, it's interesting to correlate that because we don't know construction. I do think of that analogy of when a contractor doing construction is pretty similar to like a consultant building a website, and that trust me, it'll be good. Yeah. Like I know where this video needs to go. I know that layout.
And I don't want to get too techno babbly for them. I'm trying to I don't want to tell you what's really wrong, because you're not going to understand, what's wrong with the server if I bring that up. I'm going to confuse you. So I have to convert it to what makes sense to you as, a business person. You're like, oh, your website is down. You're not going to make money. Oh, okay. That's all they care about. They don't care about Apache, Nginx, or which host. And how many times, probably 30 times, I've explained to Ed Wallace the difference between where his domain name is maintained and where his web server is maintained. And that's two different things. It doesn't make sense. It's never landed.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
You probably do that to me a lot. Try to explain something and I'm just
you're smart. You get it.
I'm smart, but if you don't care to understand it, you're not going to retain it. Right. Mm-hmm. My dad has tried so many times to tell me about AC/DC current.
Oh yeah.
And I'm I kind of okay, one's like this.
Why do I need to know?
Yeah.
Was it just make sure you don't plug in the wrong thing?
He wants me to know these fundamental principles of
is that one that helps?
Everything.
Yeah.
Like if you knew the fundamental principle of everything, you would understand most things. You could understand most things by understanding basic principles about electricity, about, all these things. Like, energy is neither created nor destroyed, right?
Okay.
It's converted. So if you think of that, like, we know that as a principle.
Oh, like the energy has to go somewhere.
Right.
Like if you get struck by lightning, you might be able to like
does that influence your everyday life? How to
ground something?
I don't know.
I guess somewhat.
It's a basic principle of science and mathematics and physics that you just believe and know. So
it helps. I'm a believer in first principles, but I think in the context of your dad explaining it, like people take for granted experience, and there's just as many like exceptions to the rule as the rules. So he's like, oh, you learn the rules, then you can know everything. It's like, then you got to learn all the exceptions to the rules. Always do this. Oh, except in this one case where it really matters. And like, that's what electricians and contractors get paid for. They know the details. And so we assumed he was, taking care of the water and how it would get from the garage up here down to the office. But he was like, oh no, I don't know. I thought it was okay. So we're like, oh no, it's like not weatherproof. And we were worried it would be like a huge, massive deal to like reroute the water, dig up driveways, big, expensive equipment to weatherproof it. But apparently we just got to kind of change the handle where it comes out. And this thing called heat tape. Is that what it's called?
Heat tape. Which
like connects to a thermostat. And then when the pipes would get cold and freeze, the heat tape runs.
Do you think it's funny that he asks to be fully given the project's stress and let me not feel it? Do you feel that's the same with our life? Like when you're in charge of something, I still manage it. I'm still feeling stress about it. Even if I've given you a responsibility, it's hard to hand stuff off to me. It's hard for me to hand stuff off to anybody.
That's true.
And feel stress-free about it.
I don't know what that is, but it's definitely a thing. It's like you want to be involved. You want it not just to be done, but be done well and perfect and understand it. And you kind of can't accept, people,
someone's version of the outcome.
And I would be careful because it's not, it's just the way and I think everyone is that way for certain things. Like, I feel like I'm definitely that way for certain things. Where like, it's, I want to definitely business wise and in the code, I'm like, oh, I want to be involved in this. And if you're like, I fixed it, I made it work. And I'm like, how did you do that? I want to find out underneath. And that's the same thing with the contract. You're like, sure, like it looks like there's a window there, but like, did you cover something up or how'd you do it? Or like, did you waste money? And I think
he worries that we think he's like doing a poor job, and he's not. He's doing an excellent job.
Yeah.
But it's just my nature. And you might feel the same. Like you feel like I don't think that you're capable. And it's not a matter of capable. It's like, it's a matter of whether I'm not capable of handing it over. It's weird.
Is like, even like vacation planning or like making meals.
Yeah.
Those are things where it's like, I'm able to cook. Like, I'm actually pretty good. That's the thing. It's like,
you found the vacation
compared to like most
too.
Other like husbands or just people in general. Yeah. Like my parents taught me how to cook at a young age. And like, I enjoy cooking and all that stuff.
You know what the secret
but
is?
You're way better than me.
You put mayonnaise.
So it's how do I?
You put sour cream.
Yeah. Secret
ingredient. You put adobo. And you're done. You got everything.
Adobo is secret ingredient. Yeah. So you're just like, yeah, Jason can cook, but it always tastes like mayonnaise and adobo. So I need to like
and it has
get in
9,000 calories. I can't eat it. It's like, oh, mac and cheese.
Yeah. No. But you do.
We invented a topic
here. You do
here.
let me cook sometimes.
I just don't
but
eat it.
You just don't eat it. Yeah. Like, you're like, I'm vegetarian, so I can eat that. Like, even this? The salads, like I make you salad every day. When we have pizza, I make a salad. I'm the only one who eats it. And then
that's just
the other day,
I don't have the time to eat
like,
salad.
I'm definitely
salad
eating this
time.
one. And then you ate late and you didn't even eat the salad. That was funny. It was like in the morning. I opened the fridge and I saw the salad.
I was going to eat it the morning and then I didn't. Oh my God. All right. Real topics. Drywall. Did you see the photos I put on the family Slack about drywall?
I didn't see the photos, but I was down there and I looked in and drywall looks really good.
Did you see the shower thing is in?
No, I didn't see
that. Oh yeah. They
I
put the shower thing in.
Oh, that's fun. I should look.
Yeah. It's going to be really small for you. I think you're going to have to be like,
yeah.
Hopefully
I'm not using it too often.
Podcast episode 20. Jason moved into the barn.
Yeah, I get to cook for myself. No, there's no kitchen.
Wonderful. We'll give you a water filter. Hey, when you run out, I got the bottle right here.
Okay.
Don't worry, sir.
I got a sip left. But it's good. Yeah. So it's cool that he did thing. He's like, he's like,
why do you think they insulated that wall?
Which wall? The interior wall?
Yeah.
For sound?
I don't know if they insulated the little room.
And wait, what do you mean?
They insulated the wall between the bathroom and the rest of the like the front wall where we might put a wet bar.
Yeah, I guess you don't have to, but maybe for sound they were thinking. Because the shower.
Like if someone's showering while
you don't want the shower sound going out. The insulation makes a huge deal for the sound. I remember when we were thinking about doing this one time, we were down there and it's like a aluminum
it's
building,
a metal building.
And it was raining and it's like ding, 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 ding. You couldn't hear anything. I was like, I really think that. I was like, I really think nobody should put a wall here. I was like, I can't hear you. What? And you're like, I might record down here. Like, no, never when it's raining. But now the insulation's in and it's like, it sounds like.
Should have gone in when it was raining yesterday.
Oh.
Not that they can do anything now. Like, hey, rip all that down and do more.
But it sounds way different. Like it's definitely like, the sound in there is dulled.
It's like,
and when there's floor,
it's eerily quiet.
Yeah.
And you like go from like the sounds of like robust nature.
Right.
Then you go inside. It's like,
it's nice.
Yeah, it's weird. It is.
We should get a window. We don't really have any windows we could crack open and put screens in. No. I wonder if we'll miss that. I didn't think of that.
The front door can open and then the rear door to create like cross breeze.
But it's like completely open, not like screen open, but maybe.
I just want to be in there with everything
AC,
silent and closed and like
maybe
only my spa music on and just sit on a chair. Like
these days, when we like sit in the sunroom and like watch movies, we're like, I'm going to be in the sunroom and chill. You watch the kids. That works, but then you're right there and the kids come and get you. They're not going to walk down the hill to get us. Although they might. So. I don't know.
No, they might. They're going to be like, reclaim this space.
And it's just going to be scarier because you really won't expect it.
No,
and then you'll the big glass window. You'll just be new chairs. You'll just be sitting on the couch watching a movie, and then like behind the big glass windows, just be a kid like.
Don't say that. So scary.
And you won't hear the rain, but just be like a flash of lightning, and then just like you see their face, and you're like, "Ah, my goodness, what are you doing here, mommy?"
Yeah, Aaron already looks like the. I thought it was the Ring. I think it's the Conjuring.
Conjuring girl.
Yeah.
She could, when her hair was long, she got a haircut now. She's looking better.
And it was all matted and horrible. Yeah. Cheers. Oh, I got a haircut. And my daughter also got a haircut.
Yeah.
She got it all. A good amount, but it's still very long. All right, let's do a topic. Ready?
Okay. Construction's going well. Sleeping. Speaking of the Ring, we brought up, it was on our topics last week, and I think we talked about it a bit. And then I had it on the list. I was like, did we finish talking about this? But maybe just in general, instead of, I think part of the, like sleeping in shifts, how we're getting up in the morning and kind of like letting the other sleep in the morning sometimes. But also maybe I'm thinking about getting one of those magic number beds where like it's 2 separate beds. That's what they tell me.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want to.
You say like letting the other sleep in sometimes, but.
Is it always you letting me sleep in? Like once a week, I let you sleep in.
I can't.
I do. No. But I mean, well, here, it's not sleep in. If I a couple times this week, I've left at 4 a.m, so it's not like letting you sleep in.
Yeah, but then I get to sleep from like 4 to 6.
Yeah.
A.m. with like.
Yeah, and then I go back to bed.
Quiet.
From like 6 till 8. It's weird.
Like your turn.
But that sleep is so good. Like, but like at 4 a.m. for various reasons, like just up and can't sleep. Like either when I drink, sometimes I have trouble sleeping, but then also like Marin has been coming in the middle of the night. We've been, like we were trying to get her fall asleep on her own. And then I had this thought where like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'll lay with her. Like I'm not, when she's 15, I'm not gonna be able to lay in bed with her. No. You think of that stuff. So you're like, now's my time to lay in bed with her. Let me just enjoy it. It's fine.
We just won't tell any of you that we're doing that if she's
15. She's 15. I'm still like putting her to sleep.
Who knows?
So it's just like, it doesn't matter. She wants us to read to her. I'm like, it's cool. Like, let's read to her a bit. But so I'm definitely not like, hey, by the end of the month, we have to have her going to sleep on her own every night.
Gone through phases.
She's 8 years old. Though. Yeah. Where you think like, let's like, I wouldn't mind laying down with her and reading to her or something like that. But like, I'm not going to, because I think she needs to grow up. So I stopped that. There's none of that. But there totally is like, I'm waking up at 4 a.m, so it's 9 o'clock at night and I want to go to bed. you know, we watched a movie. It's like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to go to bed. Like, I don't want to, you know, I don't like falling asleep in her bed.
Last night I put on her Dagmar Krug.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy. Balam Garden.
Yeah. We'll link to it in show notes. That's like
it was the last thing that she came to me. I said, I'll put on your sleepy song.
Yeah.
On repeat. And then she did not come back to me after I put that song on.
That's a song we played in the car, and it's definitely a trigger to make him go to sleep. We should use it.
It is like a magic spell for hypnotizing.
Yeah. So there's reasons we're getting up at 4 a.m. and not able to go to sleep. So then I was like, oh, I'm just going to, I usually just watch TV for like an hour, read books or stuff for an hour. And then you get up at 6 and then I crawl back in the bed and go to sleep.
Man. Yeah. Getting up at 6, as long as I don't wake Isaac, it's
then you get
really
some time
nice.
alone. Yeah.
Because it's not so horrible out. I go on the sun porch and the dogs are annoying, but they've settled down. And it's just beautiful hour of nature sounds, natural. And
do you think it's like you really notice when I'm not there 4 to 6 or when I am? Because even if I'm sleeping and staying there, I'm probably moving a bit, or maybe.
I don't know.
Because it definitely. Yeah, and it was the dogs, like when they were going to the bathroom in the middle of the night. That's what was keeping us up.
I'm a side sleeper, but like I've been waking up with like hip pain. I think I'm just.
What I read, something like your bed like gains like 50 pounds of stuff every year, and we've had it for 10 years or so. So you just imagine like 500 pounds of. Like,
I'm scared to just mail order a bed though.
Is that the way to buy them?
Yeah. If you get those like foam only beds.
Yeah, that's what you're thinking.
You know, when I visit Heidi, I'm gonna lay on her bed a little bit.
Try hers. She got a new one. Yeah.
I don't remember what brand she has. She has one of those like mail order, like in a box that.
Oh yeah, yeah. It comes in a box this big. I heard that. Yeah,
we'll try it. All right.
So, it's good. I've noticed Marin this week. There was a couple nights where, one of us didn't put her to bed, and then late, like at 3 a.m, she just came in.
She wasn't ever rested.
Yeah.
She stays up really late.
I'm not keeping track notes, but I think in my head, like the nights when I laid with her to go to bed, she stayed all night. And then like, if I don't, she comes in. And I'm almost like, even as tired as I am, I'm like, well, I'd rather suck it up and just sit with her for a half hour, really tired at 10, than get up at 3 a.m. or whatever and go lay with her for a bit. And then I come back to bed and you're like, what's going on? It's just like, I don't know, Marin.
I'm like, is everyone all right?
Yeah. It's like, all right.
It's hard to sleep.
It is. Why?
Because there's interruptions.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody has them.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone our age with our age children or younger that feels they would rate their sleep, a 5 or higher out of 10. I think most people.
Yeah. Weird.
I don't know. I think most people have trouble.
I think it's true, but it's weird like how important it is. But like we let our animals sleep in our room, like and the cat wakes Marin up.
Yep.
And I don't know if we can help like the kids, but we could definitely. There are ways you could get stricter and try to train them to not do that. But sad too. It's for them. Then you're just passing on to them like weird sleep issues.
It could be worse. We have no bedwetting.
That's not so bad. Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's it.
We have occasional cat vomit midnight, but that's not so bad. It's just like, just sleep on top of your sheets. You're good.
Yeah.
The final word is sleeping is hard. There's nobody out there who has children, pets.
Who's sleeping well. So we
sleeping
should feel it's pretty good. Yeah. It's not so bad. Yeah.
I don't think we should not feel like we are sleep failures.
I get enough.
Yeah. We're functioning.
Yeah.
I don't
Can you tell?
Naps. You take naps maybe. Oh, do you want to refill?
I would take more naps.
All right. I'll introduce the next one.
Maybe when the office is there, I'll be napping down in the office.
I'm going to put a video camera on and just like blowhorn the shit out of you. I'm going to be like,
why can't I nap?
Wake up!
Let me nap.
Useless!
Like, okay, Google. Broadcast.
No, don't. It's going to actually do it. Oh, you hurt my foot. Okay. So I put this next topic on and we probably talked too much about it, but.
That's okay.
We're doing this push to have more like structured marketing planning and marketing goals.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is looking at metrics that I think your gut is good. My gut is good. When you make a judgment and try to are you okay?
I need to move the chair
to
face you.
Okay.
So I'm not like fighting the spring.
So up until this point, like we occasionally pop in and look at metrics. We look at analytics.
Yeah.
But to me, the biggest metric
it's not big
are we
money.
hitting revenue targets? Yeah. Yes. Are we
What's exceeding? Your KPI? Cash in the bank.
Yes. So if someone was like, they want all these numbers from us, like it's hard to make the time to focus on that level of analysis when things are going well. Yeah. And then someone would say, but you could be doing better. You could be doing 10x.
How do you know?
And that's okay. But for whatever reason, putting all that noise aside, now we're taking a look at these things. I got my sister involved in data analysis with me.
Still like querying our existing data.
And I think I've said, it would be really great to have a report of this. It's not data you couldn't help me with.
Yeah.
But it's just,
there's been on my list to what's the split of recurring to non-recurring per day? What's the actual renewal rate? What's the actual,
and I don't know if we're exactly there. It's really confusing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a simple, one shot. Oh, that's it.
Right.
People are paying all different types of prices.
Someone cancels and then signs up again.
Yes. Like a gap in membership.
How many times did they cancel?
Yeah.
How many times they sign up? Did they renew? If they renewed a month after, they missed and then renewed
later.
Does
that count as renewing?
Yeah.
If there's gap? I don't know.
Right.
But I don't know. It's interesting. But I have this idea to kind of overlay variety of metrics on one another to see correlation.
Yeah.
Which reminded me of that interview I had with that, or onboarding call with that Grow website. And it was kind of outside of our budget to maintain at that time.
Yeah. That
relationship. But that's what they try to do. They try to.
It's the kind of thing too, where you need a point person who's really doing the work.
Yes.
It doesn't just work out of the box. You have to,
you can get as much data as you want, but inferences from data right now, you could have AI that does it, and that might be complicated to code. But I don't know. There's probably going to be an emergence of a company that does, insight on data. And there are.
Yeah, but it's for huge companies. Yeah. It's $1 million contracts.
It's not for companies at the $1 million level. It's
I don't think there's smaller business or our side
right. So it's still going to be up to the owner and the marketing team to make inferences, And I think what I'm struggling with is you can only get data that you think is important. So you're always going to miss the subtleties of the data. So how do you feel about that?
Okay. I'm going to try to remember that last part so we can get to it.
Okay. I can remember it because that's the part that's sticking with me. It's what am I not asking for?
But the unknown unknowns that. The known.
I want to talk about fictitious things.
Yeah.
Because I'm a.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you I know we talked backwards about it. You realize you wish you had some stat, but you're not collecting the data you need to figure it out. So it's, it's good if you collect a bunch of stuff, you can figure it out later. I feel I like, figuring out the metrics and the stats. It's important. I feel like sometimes people can get caught up in it because, or they kind of want a level of detail that's not really possible. So what do we,
what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong?
Yeah. What's the return on investment of this? We talked about, I think before, going to WordCamps and you're we didn't get any signups. And you're oh, it takes time. And we're building relationships. It's not that one-to-one. It's the same thing in, even just trying to track links from websites. I'm trying to remember. We did a banner. No, was it the banner? I don't know. We put some links inside the plugin, in the dashboard. And we did that. It wasn't a ton of time, but some time. And over 6 months, there was one checkout, using that campaign ID in Google Analytics. And I'm I don't know, but I'm sure of the 3,000 checkouts in the time, more than one came. I don't think it was one. Yeah. What is wrong, with the data? Because there could be someone who linked through and then they just left, or they opened incognito, or they
don't put a tracking pixel on anyone right now.
Yeah.
Thinking about it.
Stuff like that. And yeah, so maybe it just wasn't a direct link in the, or in our the tracking sales through the site-wide sales plugin, it's how many people see the banner, how many go to the landing page, and then how many convert? Well, some people go directly to the landing page. So how do you account? There's always little weird, you can go directly to checkout,
Yeah.
So it's the data is never perfect. So if you're I want to go from 5% to 4%, or or things I'm going to do YouTube, and you're how do you track the YouTube. Like you can put links in the description, but there's more than that. Like, and you're not going to be able to like do surveys and all this stuff and figure out who's coming from YouTube. And you're like, I kind of just know that the more video views we have is good. Like,
but that's like unfounded.
Yeah.
And
so how do you,
compared
is that
to
worth
what?
it or something
so more
else?
Video views is worth it. But like, didn't you know that this other effort that is slacking because you pursued video views was your actual bread and butter, was your actual key success?
But if you only pursue things that are like perfectly, trackable, you're going to miss out on some of the value. Like the content marketing stuff, is probably like one of the best things we do is we have this content over years, and it takes time for that to get in the system and SEO. And like, you get some reaction when you send an email or do a blog post, but it's not immediate. All the value doesn't come immediately. I don't know. No. So it's like, anyway.
That's what I like about content. I like about videos is that it exists past the campaign.
Yeah.
So a lot of marketing is like, these bursts and these campaigns that, they just disappear once it's over. Whereas like a piece of content, even if you build a campaign around it, the content is perennial. The YouTube video is perennial.
Yeah. And you get value. Yeah. Like, I know it's good to upgrade our docs, and we don't have to necessarily like try to figure out how to like get the ROI. Now, there are like important stats that over time, like were important to us. Like we definitely tried to track, at a higher level of how many people hit our website, how many of them convert to free, and how many people convert from free to paid. And you probably did that report with your sister, but we do it. We don't have a thing that automatically updates it all the time, but like every once in a while I run a query and say, oh, like generally this many, and it's like 10% of our free users become paid users at some time. And so it's like, and that's it. That's it. 10%. It's like, it's like, and people are like, oh, it's not good. I'm like, but the YouTube people maybe convert less than the Twitter people. And like, do you know, or like, what if they were free for 2 years or 1 year, or like, free with an add-on? Like you can slice it a bunch of ways. And I'm like, it's kind of good enough to just know about 10%. And then you spend a lot. I mean, it's okay to confirm that, but it's like about 10% is good enough. I don't know if it's like 11% or 9%. Like about 10 is kind of good enough for me, kind of managing the marketing and
but I
figuring
think
out.
The goal is to become less of like a wild mouse. And to become more like focused with where your energy is spent. Like, because I know documentation updates are important, but given the choice between, I have 1 hour of time, should I do like 3 doc updates, or should I create a webinar to exist on YouTube? Like, what can I look to help our team make that decision?
Yeah.
And I don't know at what point our intuition, I don't want to call us lucky. I don't know what I want to call us.
Well, yeah, some of it, I guess.
But there's just this
karma.
Drink to karma. No, karma is real. And we
I know what you mean. Like, if you're like, there's like insecurity. We didn't, go all in on LinkedIn, which may or may not have been better or worse than whatever.
But it's not like you can't teach someone the intuition and the luck, and like, it's not transferable. I can't give my karma to someone else to drive that bus. I think it's good for us it's scary that you could totally screw it up. Some of it's in my head, like how the funnel works. Yeah. And it needs to be shared with like the marketing team. But it's still largely based on assumption, intuition, gut feeling. But I think it's also like for the marketing team. Like you've just absorbed, you've absorbed the data for 10 years. I've absorbed the data for 10 years. It's in my you get a feel soul. I don't need to look at it to know. There's an analogy I use where like having like a sales funnel and all the metrics you can track around acquiring customers and retaining customers and how much money you get from customers. It's pretty similar to when you're working out and you're like, I'm trying to lose weight and I'm trying to get bigger and I'm trying to like get stronger arms and legs. And sometimes like you're doing a bench press and you haven't done bench press for a while and you're like, I'm really going to try to increase my bench press. And like in a couple of weeks, you get like 30% gains in your bench. You're like, oh my God, I'm 30% stronger. And then like another week goes by and like you get a little bit, but it plateaus. And then you're like not getting gains in your bench press. And then you're like, okay, and then switch to doing some other muscles, And I think it's funny I have a workout analogy because I don't work out a lot anymore. And I don't work out either. But it's like someone who works out. I don't like How does this analogy work? Can you make it about hiking or gardening.
But you like switch it, like your muscles, you plateau and then you switch up to another muscle. And then maybe your bench press can get stronger so it's kind of like a sales funnel, and you have like getting traffic in the top of the funnel. You have converting people from free or into free customers, converting from free to paid, keeping them once they're paid, getting, like, so there's all these parts that you could tweak, and you're like, what do I tweak? And that's how I see it. Like, it's working, like it's good. Don't like, it's not broken, let it go. And you're like, which part of the existing thing do I tweak? Or do I try to get like a new funnel into the top? And you're like, if you're tweaking something that's kind of not working, like, I'll take a break and then go tweak something else.
Okay.
And then maybe go back and tweak it. So I don't know. That's like the I don't know, mentality I have around like maintaining the funnel. I think sometimes the marketing folks can get concerned because they want to have a metric to keep track of like the work they're doing and how good they're doing. Cause it's kind of, if I do like 10 videos and 10 blog posts, did that really move the needle, or is that just busy work?
Yeah.
Or like if it does really move, because it's weird, like past week there's been like a lot of sales. Kind of, we didn't expect it, and we don't really, it's weird tonight. We don't know. Do you know why? Why are there more sales for the past week? They've been almost double.
Yeah.
New sales have been double for the past week. Kind of, there's usually a bump in the beginning of the month, so it's good to know that.
Yeah.
I don't think we usually have like a back to school September bump. I don't know if that's involved. Like, we've been doing videos. Travis had some really popular videos. It's like, oh, is it that video? Like, I had to retweeted by Matt Mullenweg. Like, all these things are like, what? It'd be nice if like, I guess you'd feel more comfortable if it's like, oh, there was like sales doubled for a week. And I'm like, it's okay. Or should we be like, we should know like, this is why, and we should keep doing that thing, maybe. So like if we had better tracking of things. But sometimes it's like, I know like this content's going to be useful. I know this. And so do it. And you don't have to know if it's going to be like 2 times as useful or 3 times or 4. Like, it's good. You did something good.
It's growing to a place where there's so much.
Just keeping track of time. Yeah.
Are we like limiting our time? When there's so much to do, you need something to help you like choose which target to shoot at.
Yeah. No,
you can't just, there isn't.
But it is like, I think it's okay. Like, hey, we're going to try to make a decision. Let's get the stats now.
Yeah.
Make a decision and use our intuition to bolster it. And if it's not perfect, it's okay. And try stats. I mean, I'm all about stats, but sometimes it's kind of set up like, we shouldn't even do this thing until we get like stats. It's like, no, I know it's good. Like, I know that, like answering support tickets faster.
I think
good.
Also like as we
look
at these metrics,
keep track of satisfaction.
What can we actually influence?
Yeah.
Right. So one of the hardest things to influence with our product, I think, is how people run and manage their own membership site. And I think if I had to guess why people renew or don't, I would say that it's largely a failure to launch.
Yeah.
A failure to establish a business of their own that they want to keep pursuing.
Yeah.
It's a few people are grumpy. A few people like build a private tool. Very few are migrating to another competitor's product. Mostly they kind of believe or are coerced by a developer that they hire, a team that they hire to say like, you need a custom built solution. Like, you're at a size that,
if we lose,
you don't need WordPress
else
anymore.
Yeah.
You don't need this Painters Pro plugin. You need a custom thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's where you are now. But I think a lot of people, it's my business.
Yeah. It just
didn't get off the ground.
Yeah. Totally. What is that? I don't know. It's like small business raise, like failure rate is like 50%.
Yeah.
And a lot of our customers are small businesses. So,
I mean, they're smaller than small.
But there is this idea, I forget the buzzword for it, but it's kind of like customer success marketing, where like instead of like, we got the sale, good to go. I got your what I said. Yeah. What's my KPI? Cash money in the bank. Like, okay, but if you gain customers and they fail, then maybe you get a little bit of money you can make. Yeah, your return is bad. But so, customer success, both you get a renewing customer plus someone who's really excited and tells people that they're having success. And so trying to proactively follow up with customers and say, oh, like, is there something we can do? Or, having a way to interview them. There's an idea. Try to remember because I didn't share this, but I had it. When people sign up for free or paid, we should send a kind of survey about what part of the process they're at. Like, I already have a membership site. I'm migrating from someone else.
Not a checkout field, just like a.
Yeah. There is like these, there's really cool survey plugins for like your landing. Right Message is one that's cool. I forget who's doing
Right
that.
Message app. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's meant for like on your homepage, pre-sales, they figure out so you can kind of give a better sales message.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have part of this as part of it too, but I'm more interested. Like I already got them to sign up for free or paid. But at that point, I kind of want to send them a survey. Like, do you already have a website? Do you need like a hosting recommendation? Do you need a developer? Do you need a theme? Do you need like, and you know, have you been using PMPro Pro for 2 years and now you just need support? Have you like our customers are at like different steps on a process. So we lay out that process and try to figure out like where they are. Instead of we send a blanket, like I think our welcome message is great.
Only goes to free though. It doesn't go to the plus, which maybe there's a version for paid members if you're new.
There should be something.
A confirmation message.
Yeah.
Confirmation
but that's
email.
weird. We don't send the welcome.
But the welcome series is designed for free.
To convert to free. Yeah, but it's anyway, that free welcome series is kind of like it assumes members, they have a WordPress site that's already running and they just have to install the membership plugin. Right. Which is sometimes true, but not always. Like maybe they already installed PMPro and they got to skip to like email 5 to get to the step.
As far as they,
So that's what I thought it'd be cool.
Where did I get stuck?
Build a kind of like, hey, we really want to like cater like our help to you. Like answer these 5 questions and then like some kind of decision tree. Oh, okay. Hey, you don't even have a website. You need to go to Liquid Web and
there's nothing worse.
A host.
And Auntie expressed this, and so do I, that 2 weeks in, 4 weeks in, somebody asks for a refund who never
they didn't even
emailed or asked any questions. There's just nothing worse than that. Like, and then
they say like,
and they're like, I just couldn't get it set up, and you're just like, but did you know that you could ask us a question?
I thought you integrated with Buddy Press, but you don't. And you're like, we do. We're the only one that does.
Yeah.
Like,
and then you're like, I'm going to give you a refund, but I want to keep helping you. I think these are solvable problems. Like you've already gotten.
So we could be proactive about that's customer success.
And then I say, or just leave it. And if you don't want to talk anymore about it, move along. But man, that hurts. I think we're thinking about like if you are active paid, haven't opened a ticket within 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
Just
like a reach out. And just even if it's a list that we manually message and Unsee or me or someone else.
And then track that and see if that encourages people. They're like, yeah, I'm not using it. Can I get my refund? Or if it's like, oh yeah. And then you answer a question like, thank you so much. That's great.
It's like, where are you stuck? Like, hopefully it doesn't encourage refund.
By the way, if like,
it's not a small amount of money.
30 days in or whenever people feel that way, like I'd rather them get the money in refund. Like I'm not into making money off that.
No, like I guess I can't get a refund now.
It's like, maybe it's money's good, but it's almost like a cancer. It's growing.
When you face the pearly gates, you don't want to be.
Or I don't know. It's like weird.
You made money on.
No. It's within the business. It's a bit like a disease in the sense that you have a customer who doesn't wish they didn't buy. They just didn't think or were too lazy to get a refund.
Yeah.
And like I'll take their money. Okay.
Yeah.
But, or like there's some business models that are like, they don't want people to know it's going to renew. Like the business models are tricked. It was like,
when
I guess it's money, but like there's something wrong. There's something wrong with that. Like, that's not right. Like I believe the business should always be delivering value.
HelloFresh was sending me a notice prior to the due date of my meal selection.
Okay.
Every week, forever. And so I didn't want to have to like deal with the phone call.
The full cancel. So you just said, I'll skip a week?
They required you to call to cancel. So I would just like go on and like for the next 6 weeks, like cancel.
Yeah.
Then 1 week out of the blue, they just email like your meal will be here Wednesday.
They didn't send that email.
They didn't send the prior
one.
And
then you canceled.
Yeah. And then I was like, you jerks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. That's what it's like if you don't.
But they tried to sneakily.
We need to build that in ASAP. Now that I think of it, we have an add-on that does that. If it's recurring, to send an extra email. And they send you like the worst meals. Like you're getting, your credit card's going to be charged.
We send that.
So it's like an add-on though.
Oh, you want to bake it in?
It needs to be baked in. It's so important. Yeah.
But some people like to shady.
But in general, if people are going to do shady things, I want them to have to spend some effort to do it with our plugin. I don't want shadiness to be
turn
the default.
On shady mode.
You can quote me on that. Yeah, it's like dark mode.
Dark heart mode.
Right. Do I get the last word? I don't know.
Sure.
I think I did. It was good.
We were like, we have a lightweight topic list, and now
we're 40 minutes in on the first two
topics. Yeah.
Metrics are good. Let's keep doing it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, but how do you
Oh, what?
I won't talk.
Oh, what was the thing?
The thing I want to know is like, how do you know what metric you're
like,
not looking at that's important, you know?
I guess you got to read marketing blogs. I don't know. Think about it. That can be my final word. This is a piece of advice I give a couple times. You have to be wary of like marketing advice from like some of those blogs and thought leaders and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of those thought leaders are further along in their business than you are.
Okay.
And their problems are going to be problems further along. Like everyone, the common wisdom is to worry about churn.
Right.
You know, like, oh, if someone cancels, find out why. So you keep people from canceling. And you're like, early on, you're like, you don't even know if you have the right customers yet. You're still figuring out like who your target market is. Like it, you know, like, why did they cancel? They didn't really need you. I don't know. It's like, like, why worry about that when you don't even know upfront if you're getting right, or you don't like focus on getting more customers early on. You know, I always say like, don't worry about the people who don't want to pay you, like try to find the people who do want to pay you. And I think that advice is better early on.
Yeah.
But what happens is if you have some kind of recurring business by year 5 of doing well and new sales plateauing of some sort, now churn is a bigger part. Like you found out it was like 30% instead of 50%. That's a really big difference. That's a bigger difference than like if we could grow new sales.
Yes.
You know, 20%. It's way better if we can slow churn 10% just because there's 5 years worth of people churning and only like 1 year worth of people coming in for new. So it's funny, like churn is like a year 5 problem, but a lot of people in year 1 are like reading about that because the people in year 5 have some success. They have some clout. People are listening. I don't know. So finding what stats to look at. I don't know. But I think you're smart. You always tie it to revenue. Like that's important. And
we'll see.
Yeah. We don't want vanity metrics.
When you say, I think you're smart, you should change the word think to know. I
know you're smart. Okay. I'll say that.
Solidify it with the wine.
You're right. Okay.
All right. Next.
Yeah. Think is like, what do they call those words? It's a weasel word.
Soft.
You're definitely smart. Okay.
No. I don't need you to tell me I'm smart.
By the way, like
this
weasel
is way
words,
different talking to you.
Weasel words.
Don't you think? So far.
I think one of them. It's better. It feels kind of similar, but yeah. I'm like sitting meta, like thinking about it and like, oh, don't look or do look. And,
true.
But
I'm still performing.
I think it's good. We're talking to each other more, even though sometimes we're saying things that
we know each other knows.
Yeah.
I've heard
but that's okay. And you just
I've heard the weightlifter
this is a story
before.
Yeah. And you let me say it. No big deal. I love your stories. By the way, an aside on weasel words, I'm going back and forth. Do you know what I mean? Like a weasel word. So
is that like a winky face emoji?
Maybe I'm abusing that term, weasel word. No. You know, in our writing guides, guidelines we wrote up, there was one, it says like, I think it has like a bunch of words. Like if you see these words, like take them out. Like I think
you should maybe try to do X.
Yeah. Like
you should maybe try. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Do X.
You can qualifying words. That's where it's like, so it's, you make a statement and you say, I think that by doing this, you're going to just like, you really think it, just say it.
Yeah.
By doing this, you're going to this, like if you have a feeling, just do it. And like in social media, it helps to limit, you have a 240 characters. So it's nice to pull them out. You get more space. But I don't know. I'm super conscious that when I say I think, and my brain just goes, oh, wait, do you really have to say that? It was like, just take it out. Just say what you think.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like, I saw someone, I have to find it. Someone said like, oh, there's actually help. It's weird. Like, it's not always marketing. We're people, not robots. And putting like a little bit of a qualifier on it helps people understand, so if you say, I think Joe Biden is the best choice for president, people like, you're like, oh, that's his opinion. And maybe people interact with that a little differently. They won't be like,
if you say it as
I have a different opinion, you're more,
If you say Joe Biden is the best,
that's a bad example because that is fact.
That is a fact.
Yeah.
All right.
We're gonna blow. But yeah, anyway, I'm flip-flopping on weasel words. So like now I don't know what to do. I'm like, oh, like, should I take them out because it's more like direct and forceful, or should I leave them in because it's nicer and more?
When I'm organizing events where my children are around other children, and masks are a question.
Oh.
For some reason, I've just turned into a very upfront,
this is what we're doing,
forward person. Yeah.
Do you think maybe possibly everyone should wear masks?
I felt like uncomfortable asking friends where they've been and what they've done. So now what I've done is before I know that we're going to be around people, I communicate in a text. These are the people we've seen. These are the places we've been.
And don't
These
feel
are
weird
the things
about it.
we've done.
Yeah.
When you got here or before, tell me what you've done.
Yeah.
And we'll decide together whether we want
masks are needed.
This environment, whether masks to go inside to use a restroom or we'll stay outside only.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
It was so weird, but
changed.
now it's kind of like,
it was very weird
whatever.
For weeks and months. And
there's been a vacuum there, and they like those social interactions. They're waiting for someone to just take control and be like, "This is what."
Now I am. I'm like, let me tell you what we've done and the ways we've been exposed.
Yeah.
And you tell me those things, and I'll decide. You decide what's good.
Yeah.
We have friends who make sense and friends that are intelligent. So you could imagine that would be a more difficult conversation with extended family that has different.
It's funny, like
comfort levels.
I'm the kind of person, I don't make phone calls to family because I feel like I feel like I'm going to burden people all the time for some reason.
Yeah, you're like, they're probably busy. I don't want to call. They have something going on.
There's no good time to call because you're like, oh, it's kind of early. They're probably waking up, and they're like, they might be having lunch, and they're like, who knows? Maybe they're out of the house. It's kind of late. Let's not. You're like, there's no hour of the day.
There's no
qualifier, Jason. You got to call someone, and then like you have to feel like my parents. I mean, really, if I really think about it, they don't care. No matter what they were doing, they would stop. And like, I'm glad to get a call from Jason. So I'm never interrupting them.
I'm glad to get a call from you.
Why? Do you? Oh, yeah. I think you are.
I like to text and call a lot. I'm still alive. I'm still
You get in the
here.
car. You call a lot when you're in the car. I don't like to call from the
Convenient.
car. Like with, on headsets and Bluetooths. But that's a case where I'm confused about burdening people with things.
Yeah.
But a lot of people and I do too, we all have busy lives and make decisions and have problems and are distracted. And you're like, man, I'm sure my dad's like, if my kids just called me and I didn't have to worry about calling them, that'd be great. One less thing off my plate, even though he's the one who's retired.
That's a weird game. The game of well, they haven't called me in a while, so I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
Or he hasn't asked me on a date in a while, so I'm not going to set up a date.
That's
a weird game because you're inclined to do something, but you're trying to control yourself. I don't know. It's a weird game.
That's weird. Yeah. Waiting for someone else to move. But I feel like a lot of people are in that
or
mode.
feeling like you moved too much.
I guess that's what I'm talking about from a different angle. A lot of people are in that mode where they're waiting for someone else. So when someone comes in and you just say, hey, I'm going for a hike tomorrow. I'd like it if you and your kids came with. Instead of hey, maybe we could meet up sometime. When's available for you? It's I'm going tomorrow at 3:00. We'll meet up.
Right.
The guy I'm thinking of who has kids, go hiking with my son and stuff. He's busy too. For him to be like, oh, I don't have to figure out the time. I don't I know you're definitely going.
Verify if that fits.
Yeah. When I tell my kids, I'm like, well, that's the time they're going. He doesn't have to make up, the time. And it's so it feels like you're burdening someone by interjecting like that. But a lot of people are just waiting for someone to take control, you know? And there's probably a lesson there across all kinds of things. That was a long last word.
We're going to have to scratch some topics because I think we already have 48 minutes.
Okay.
How is that possible?
Because maybe because we're talking to each other, we're it feels better and we keep going instead of
probably
all right, angel investing, Kim.
You can't probably say anything.
Yeah,
at all.
Deals. Yeah, I'm on. I can say.
Don't break the rules here.
No, I don't think I'll break rules.
Okay.
I can say I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
Okay. So we talked about we had our quarterly. This is our money. How are we investing it? Kind of a thing.
Our first quarterly.
Is this the first one we do it? Every once
so.
in a while. Oh,
this felt more different.
It was different. You usually cry and black out and forget about it. This one you remember. I was like, I don't know if you remember, but I have. But maybe I have to sneak it in. I'm thinking about doing this. Okay, yeah, I guess I don't worry about it. Okay, cool. We had a good talk.
Oh no.
Money's awkward. But so
what does you looking to the right mean? You're trying to
trying to remember for me, and looking to my right is
looking to your right,
making stuff up.
Oh, you're making stuff up right now.
Am I? Oh, and I looking to the left is his trying to remember. But also that light is crazy bright. So
I don't care about that light. Look at your eyes. You're like, let me make up shit about my angel investing. Okay, go ahead.
I'm not trying to make stuff. Oh, I don't know. Okay, angel investing. So we have money to invest. Some part of it, I'm like, hey, we should angel invest it. Like it would be fun. It's a way to make money. I guess I'm being bombarded. Like specifically, there's the syndicate, Jason Calacanis, and there's other.
You're like a long-term Jason Calacanis fan. Boy.
Yeah, I've been following him for a while. I was on podcasts early days. That's a funny story. I have to tell that. But so I've been following him, like VC investing and thinking about it. Like we're bootstrappers. And when WineLog got the attention of everyone, we didn't really seek VCs. And when they would be like, "Oh, what do you need? What can you do? I want to give you money." I'd be like, "Yeah, no, like, I don't think so. Like, I don't want it. And like, I don't think this actually could make that much money. So you probably shouldn't invest in it." Like, I don't know. I was way too honest. And we like control, and VCs give up control.
We do like.
But that said, like I've been following along and listening, and like you can tell like a company's going to do well, and like you can't really invest in it until it becomes public markets, and that might be too late. So it's exciting, and I don't know. I feel like it's like a investing asset class to kind of diversify investments, but also it's kind of fun. And specifically,
relatively small amount of money.
Yeah, so Jason Calacanis has a syndicate where he gathers like a lot of. He makes an investment, and then he carves out like he makes a $200,000 investment. There's a $200,000 investment for people in the syndicate. Excuse me. And I don't know how many. There's like 4,000 people now who get like the emails and they see the deals. And then you can invest like $1,000 to $25,000, and it's like first come first served, and like depending on how long you've been there, like there's different rules around if you can get in, because a lot of them like everyone wants to get in, and you can't maybe. But it's a way to do VC angel investing with like $2,000 at a time instead of 25. And he does the deal flow. I don't have to like go talk to people at coffee shops and figure out.
Right.
So that's been interesting to be on the mailing list, and I won't say anything that, you know, is coming through. That's cool. But it's kind of just interesting to see how that works and try to get into those investments. But what I was thinking was like, it was kind of a mindset thing. So I was like, hey, like, I don't know, say like, I'm going to designate $25,000 this year to angel invest, probably through the syndicate, because that's the vehicle ahead of me. Although there's other ones that are kind of interesting. And it's like, oh, it'll be like maybe $2,000 to $5,000 chunks or something like that. So now I have that mindset. So when a friend from high school calls and says he has an idea for a provocative new startup or something, I'm like, oh, like, why not give it to him instead of like a random company with fees attached?
I'm not going to say anything.
Because I guess that specific case, you could have reasons not to.
Because you probably know too much to, and you probably would stay too involved because you have a relationship.
I'd be building a website.
It would be more difficult to, invest at a distance for a friend and family.
It's weird investing with friends, like too. Like then you have to talk about that. You're like, I just want to chill, but like you have to.
I think also like
my money.
Because you've bootstrapped, you can recognize where early expense is a bad choice. So it'd be hard for you to like withhold business advice.
Or we get involved.
Yes.
But maybe in a good way. Like, I'm pretty smart, I think.
Like, could we have bootstrapped, or could we have gotten investment, and what would that have meant, and how would that have changed the approach we took?
We did get some in WineLog, and
what do you think of like Paid Memberships Pro?
Yeah.
Like it came slow.
Yeah.
The process was slow.
Yeah.
But all of our decision making was founded in this.
I gotcha.
It was
so in this case for the high school friend, it's like, oh, that sounds exciting. I'm investing in other people's businesses. Let me know if you need $5,000. Would then put him on a track where he's now instead of going on the bootstrap path that we know is good, he's like, oh, My understanding of these syndicate investments are that they are somewhat bootstrapped or founder funded to a certain point. They're not just like new ideas with no basis. Like they're past angel. It's like the second round of me. I don't think there's any that are. I mean, I don't know. Actually, I have to look again, like what their perspective.
I would imagine they got to a place that
a lot of them are existing companies that have revenues or have a product or already got some funding and they're getting like a second round.
So they understand what getting more funding and how to handle it.
Yeah. So there is kind of like if you're investing in a later round, it's a more mature company. And so it's maybe a more likely bet potentially than like a very early that has no, pre-product, pre-idea.
I think it would just,
money
would influence and change the path.
It's those syndicate companies is like, I'd invest $5,000 in a company worth, $2 to $20 million. Whereas like if I invested $5,000 in Buddy's business,
a business worth $0.
Yeah. But when I invest, if I get like some piece of it, it would be less, it'd be less than $1 million for sure. It'd be like less than $500,000 probably. Like when you're investing something that early, that's just an idea. You have to like, how do I figure out like what percentage of your business I get for this cash and this advice? So it's a bigger, I don't know, that idea too. He's probably trying to just build something for fun. He doesn't have a lot of the stuff that VCs like Jason Calacanis go after. It's like, if it's not $1 billion business, we don't care.
Right. If you can't picture it as,
and there's a chance this is a really provocative idea that my friend had, but like, I don't even know if he's thinking about $1 billion yet. So it is, it's different.
Have you missed opportunities to invest in friend and family acquaintance deals, in your opinion, that worry you? Like, can you think of opportunities that you could have explored? And maybe you didn't explore them because you didn't have the money for it, and that's fine. But like, did something take off to a place where like your gut told you go for it, but your wife told you don't? Probably not.
Like no, I don't know. Okay. I wasn't looking for them. A lot of people would come to me with ideas, and they would want involvement. They didn't just want money. It was like how
plug-in ideas or business ideas.
Yeah. And I would say, and some of them have done really well. I don't know. I don't say names, but like, and it was like, I wouldn't want to have time to commit to this. And that's what kind of what you're saying is like, I can't just give money. I guess it's kind of like where we're at, where like there's extra money from the business. So it's like,
there's no extra time.
No, there's not. So it's a different, when you're thinking of just like things to invest money in.
Are you allowed to talk about the solar panels in South Africa?
That's public.
Did you look into that? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a form of angel investing in a way. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's an investment.
Okay. Yeah. Well, in the show notes, we'll say exactly what the website is, but I forget. But basically it's like a group of folks who like, they scope out properties, and I think it's mostly South Africa. And it's mostly schools. They find a school that they can like install solar panels on at a positive, like it runs the energy for the school and it generates money.
Probably puts more into the grid. Yeah.
And then they figure out the numbers, and they say like, it's this many kilowatt, hours or whatever they measure solar energy in. And like, this is what
kilowatt hours.
I gotta figure this out. Yeah.
There's no PEX tubing involved.
No. And they say it's basically like, we need whatever it is, like $100,000. And then, there's so many shares, they split into shares. So there's like, each share is like 200 some bucks or whatever. And they do Bitcoin and,
cool.
South African Rand. So the Bitcoin thing's cool. So you buy shares, they use that money, they install the solar panels, and then any of the profit from the solar panels goes back to the investors. And the Bitcoin thing, like, I don't know exactly how they do it, but this is what's exciting about kind of Bitcoin and digital money, is they could kind of automate it 100%. You just send your Bitcoin to an address, and it's like, okay, now it's in a ledger. And then we send all the Bitcoin out as it comes in. And kind of less so with Bitcoin, but some of the other like Ethereum, like more programmable money, like it's set up and like, you just know 100%, like there's no one's going to come in. And that's like a risk with some of these.
Trustworthy.
Like they just say like, oh, we changed our mind, or these terms, or we got other investors who like get the money before you, blah, blah. Whereas like this is not the case here, but if you make an investment in some of these Ethereum things, it's like, it's hard coded in the blockchain and like, you're going to get your money, like as long as like whatever happens, but even that, I guess, cause it's linked to like generating energy, like that's the energy generation isn't on the blockchain. So someone has to like take that money and put it in. There's a human handoff in this. But it's nice that like some of it's kind of automated. The other one's like the horse thing. Like we watched the Kentucky Derby, and like he could have bought like a share of the horse before he won. But the solar thing I looked into, and I was like, oh, I want to do this. By the time the next day, I was like, I'm definitely going to do it. The one project had sold out. So now I'm on the mailing list, and there's like, they're like coming soon. And so I supposedly will get the email to be able to join it. But it's like, I guess technically what could happen is you would say you invested $1,000 now for so many shares. They would lock you into a 20-year contract where you would get all the profits from the solar energy for the next 20 years. And that's based on the cost of energy in South Africa and how efficient the solar panels hold up. And if they don't get like stolen or whatever,
Yeah,
I don't know. Like whatever,
kind of,
like it could happen.
It's not a joke that
broken.
There's weird stuff that goes on.
The school shuts down because COVID, like this isn't even a school anymore. And like now what's the school going to do? Like who owns, I don't know. Or like
building.
We're going to repurpose the building. You can't have solar panels on anymore. I don't know. So something like that could happen. But basically for the next 20 years then, and maybe even past that, I have to look into fine details, but they like over 20, they give you that number of like in 20 years, you'll make this much. You could make like, so a $4,000 investment over 20 years, you'd make $3,000 estimated returns from the energy sales. And you have to think like, what are the trends and how much energy costs and what's the likelihood this would work? And you would want to diversify across a few of these projects instead of one, just in case something happened. But that's also the kind of thing where like, say I invested $1,000 and I get like $800 back. You're like, I still feel like I put solar panels on a school for kids in Africa somewhere. Like they got energy for free.
Karma is real.
Yeah. So like, it's kind of neat.
Wow. It comes up a lot, doesn't karma come up?
That's a cool one. Yeah. But it's like this mindset of, it's weird. Like in this mindset of, like wanting to give people money to pursue their dreams. Similar, like we were on the other end of it where we had ideas.
I keep yawning. I'm sorry. You're not boring, but
which is.
Oh, guess what we're watching tonight? We're watching.
Oh, what are we watching?
Jurassic Park 4 or whatever.
Oh, the Jurassic World?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Chris Pratt.
Isaac's really just waiting to get onto Karate Kid series.
Oh, he wants to get through Jurassic Park quick.
So we just have to finish our Jurassic Park.
He might be
series.
disappointed. Like I think it's a good movie, but it might not be. I wonder why.
He wants to watch Cobra Kai, but he doesn't want to watch Cobra Kai until he's seen. Can we watch like the Jaden Smith
Karate Kid? Was that good? Also? Yeah, I guess we.
I didn't see it. I don't know.
We watched Jurassic Park 3. We got to watch all the Karate Kids, like the remakes too. I don't know.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about this or? These were kind of related to Angel Lessons.
Oh, that's true.
But
you can skip mine.
We got time. Oh my gosh,
no, we don't. We don't have time. I think this is interesting, though.
Let's talk about yours, and we'll talk about the other one later.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah.
So this topic is, the bump that e-commerce has seen in search traffic.
Okay.
Since the coronavirus, since people being home, and everyone realizing that my bricks and mortar operation could move to an online platform. Okay. My service that I delivered in person could move to a digital online service, subscription based. So there's this crazy bump in traffic and it correlates to a bump in sales. But going back to that idea of metrics, how do you account for, and can you even include any of that data in future speculation?
Yeah.
Assuming there's a vaccine, assuming things go back to a more in-person level.
Like, is it going to die? Like, eventually, every business that wanted to get online has done it.
Will they, or have they?
One who lost their job is already, started. And
did they go back to their job and did they neglect that side hustle?
You just kind of have to assume that this bump is like those effects that are forcing people to be at home and go remote. And all those things are temporary in a sense.
Yeah.
And so the bump should be temporary. But some of it is like a paradigm shift. So some people explain like the bigger e-commerce is like, it's been held up. Like this it actually is better to just order, your stuff online and have it delivered rather than go out to the store. And especially like in the business world too, like it actually is better to just be remote or like to order these things or like some of these conferences should be virtual. I don't know, but like, so if people sometimes we were saying like this just is better, and so people are just learning like overnight. The whole world kind of learned like, oh, it's better, and we
quicker than we would have on a natural scale.
Yeah, so it's more of like a paradigm shift. Like so it's not just like a specific individual is like, well, I lost my job. I'm going to try to do this thing on the side that needs PMPro.
Right.
It's just like an idea of like, oh, like. You can do a business online. You don't have to.
I need to innovate. Train. I need to get creative.
And that's not going to go away. Yeah. Like a new personal trainer is going to be born and grow up. And then when they're deciding how they're going to charge their customers, they're just going to be more likely to think I could use a website. Yeah. So it's kind of a paradigm. So it's a little bit of both. But I guess it's weird. I see this all the time where like people, I don't know. I'm not against people bragging, but when they hit like milestones, but sometimes it's like the monthly recurring revenue and this other KPIs. And like when you're like, calculating. They're like, I hit, whatever it is, like 100,000 monthly recurring revenue. And it's all based like this month.
Yeah.
As long as it's all good and you don't have some weird trend. And some businesses maybe are that predictable, but a lot aren't. And it's kind of, or us too, like when we hit like 4.5 stars on .org.
Right.
I was like, someone's going to give us a 1-star review and it's going to go back to 4. And like, it's like, let's celebrate too soon. No. Like we got to like live with this a bit to like really understand. Like, so there has been an increase in sales. I am not trusting it in the sense, like I expect there to be a kind of reversion to mean at some point. That said, like all the network effects, more people using it, more people talking about it. We are doing a good job. We're still moving. We're still all these other things we were doing to try to grow 20% per year. We still did and are doing. And so it doesn't mean it's not going to go, we're not going to go down probably. And there's probably still going to be some of the effect of the bump, but it's hard to like count on it.
With Bob, he's going to say, what?
Yeah. What happened? Yeah.
In this year, because that 20% is like 43% this year.
Yeah. We're like
wild, right?
And it's like, now's the time to like sell the business.
I can't imagine that we're
and we'll try to hide this video, but I'll be like, yeah, totally. Like this is 100. I wonder what's happening with business to sell. It seems like, can you really bank it and be like, yeah, this like I'm watching the public markets.
I would hope that investors or people acquiring businesses recognize that it's just a really unknown.
Maybe in the private space, I'm reading stuff in like in public markets, like, Slack is announcing their I think they kind of missed. And so their stock took a hit, but they still like, we grew 150%. They're like, oh, I thought you'd grow 170. And like Peloton is like, they say that, right? Like a lot of these companies are growing so fast and everyone's like, this is great. And the investors are acting, maybe they just don't have other stuff to invest in, but also the commentary around it is like, this is the new paradigm. And people aren't, and the CEOs are spurring on, Peloton will say like, and they're like, we think this is going to continue. I forget Butterworth, the guy at Slack. Am I getting that right? I think he is a little more reserved. And so maybe that's also why the market is he's saying like, he did something before because they keep doing an update. They're public companies.
It's just unprecedented.
When there's like a material change to like, they're like, he's kept on having to push updates. Like, yeah, it's crazy. We got a bunch of new customers. So we're going to have to update our guidance. Yeah. Next week. And then he had one where he just represented, he's like, this is a pandemic. It's crazy. Like I can't do guidance. So good luck. I'll see you on the earnings call. Yeah. But it's funny. I don't know. It's interesting. The public markets are kind of getting that. So that on the private markets too, like I wonder if we could just go to, and say, hey, we're going to sell, but like we grow like 70% per year. Every year we expect to do it again next year. And they'd be like, yeah, there's this thing like.
Are people just bought into this as the new norm? I don't know. I feel like.
Split the difference. I think it's like halfway. It's like,
so split
there's a bump. It's going to revert some, but this is like a bit of a paradigm change where like people were on the edge of using online for more things. And now, there's network effects. So like. How
many buzzword consultancies can we use in this window? Drink when Jason uses a consultant word.
Paradigm
network
shift. You see the synergy.
That's the best
you're
one.
Right. I was really.
There's no better word. I actually tried to couch myself.
Synergy is a good word.
I tried to use.
What's the layman term?
What was I writing? I don't know if I was writing you or someone else in Slack today, and I felt myself using a consultant word that I didn't want to use.
Was it synergy? And you're like, this
works I don't know.
Well together.
And I was like, I can't even use this word, and I had to reword my sentence to not use.
Oh, good.
One of these terms. I was like, what? I can't say this.
Oh yeah.
In that book I recently read where they like, it was fiction.
Okay.
But that the retreat and the woman drugs them.
Okay.
And they were all like high on, what did they do? They did psilocybin. No, only that one married couple did E. The other people did. But she was like, the retreat leader was like an ex-businesswoman. And she made them all like present to her a case to like save their life. And the one woman like latched on to all these consultancies and it like resonated with the retreat leader. She was like, oh, okay, yes. And it was funny because the whole segment, she's just like, we're going to talk to accounting and we're going to
really good.
Determine whether the performance of the,
you guys have been working in silos and we really need like cross.
Pretty much. She's like, I'm thinking that we need to be more vertical
in
our approach and all these things. And the woman,
down the supply chain.
But it really, the retreat leader who like used to work in consultant land.
She believed in that stuff.
She was like, yes, you do that. You know?
Yeah.
It reminded me of that book. Well, that word came up too.
Innovation's a good one, yeah.
Do you remember when you worked in consulting, did they ask you not to use terms that were silly? Or did that come later? Like when you're not a consultant, they wanted you to use the terms.
Yeah. I mean, it was like in their documentation. So it was, like what was Accenture? I don't know if it still is.
I don't know if you don't like divulge like
the tagline or whatever, something innovation or like
accelerating
innovation. That Accenture. Yeah. It's good humor, something like that. So I mean, that's like their corporate tagline, but also like in like the slides that they gave you to present, like had these things,
You're like, I need to use these terms.
Were people self-aware of it? Like when you're maybe a bit, but you know what? Kind of not. We had
like Kool-Aid.
Oh, the one, what was the one project that was on was called like Totality. It's top secret Johnson & Johnson Totality project. I don't know if there are like documents out there. I think the statute of limitations is up, maybe. I don't know, but it's funny. Like there, I think some of the projects were maybe just I was out of the loop.
It's a big word.
It might be like
we should name our cycles with like major words when we do cycle work.
It was so kind of pompous.
Yeah,
but it might have been a kind of thing like in Scientology, like when you start out. Let's get into, when you start out, like it just is like
we're not Scientologists.
It's just self-help. Just like levels, and the people at the top know it's BS. Like all that other stuff is BS, but the like spaceship aliens,
that's drop real. A bomb on our house.
There's always there's levels. So maybe that's how it was at Accenture too, because I was only there a couple of years. So like at the bottom, they're like, you think synergy is a real thing? We know it's a joke. But then when you get
it's sad that those words are poisoned because they're really great words for a meeting of the mind.
Yeah, someone came up with like the perfect word. That's why it feels so weird, is because it's like so specific. But it is, I mean, oh man, I saw something I was thinking about investing in. I don't think it was a public company though.
Okay.
I was like, it's AI related and like e-commerce related. And I was like, oh, cool. But you're like, is this real? And I'm like, I'm smart enough to figure out if it's real. I think I can. So I went to their homepage, and their homepage is all consultant speak. And I'm like, it's not real. Like I was just running like, this is a buzzword. Not even just like kind of like misusing like AI terminology, and you're like, but then like I watched like a demo, and I was like, oh, that looked legit. Of the software, I was like, that looked legit. And then I looked up like the people involved on LinkedIn, and I was like, oh, that's like a real guy. And then you can look up there. It's so weird, like you're investing in a public company, and you can find the CTO, and then like look up their GitHub profile and see like what open source projects they were contributing to like 10 years ago.
Wow.
And I was just like, oh, it's like a real person who understands stuff. So you get like a little more. And I'm like, they just hired a marketing company to build their homepage.
There's also like.
And maybe AI that homepage talks to non-techies, right? Or maybe they use AI to write their own. Yeah. So it's funny. Like I landed on the homepage. I was like, this is fake. It's like a front. Like they're
like
just
the Wall-E movie and like
company. But then when I dug in, it was real. So I don't know. Which is like Accenture too. Like they're a real company that adds value, but they do have this, of course, they're like the originators of some of these consulting terms.
There's like, we don't use these terms for our plugin, but there's like an expectation, and does a certain customer get excited to hear a term? And it's awkward.
Yeah,
just be real, man.
All right, let's be real. Let's be real. Eat some Chinese food.
Yeah, we're gonna get Chinese.
Great.
You want to say that? I liked that topic, but I didn't give it enough thought to.
Oh yeah, I
didn't prepare.
Come back to it. Okay.
For it, and I'll try.
Super top secret topic next week, guys.
If I prepare for it, I will try not to talk to you about it. Also.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I feel like I must be forgetting some. I kind of listed some out, top secret.
Oh, in your own list, privately of mine? Where'd you list them?
I have the outline of the book we're going to write together, and it has like sections for some of these. And then I was like, I'm probably forgetting some cool ones, but yeah that's why I wanted to bring it up with you. All right. Thanks for watching that talking thing.
We didn't even think we'd get to 1 hour.
I know. We got
Isaac's books are already at the library. All right.
Recording twice a week.
No. I only wash my hair once. Bye.